Good morning. A little bit of a different kind of protocol or start to the day. We had an email requesting that we just have a moment of silence for people who are not aware. There was a terror attack in Pakistan, in the Bashahan University in Chasada, Pakistan. And I think there might be some personal connections with the Appleby community. So if just ask if you just hold a moment of silence, and then I'll hand over to Mr. Fleming. And I'd also ask that you hold both the people in Pakistan and any in the community here who may have a connection to that you hold them in your thoughts and prayers and provide support, knowing that this is a wonderful community where we know that there is always care and support and strength and encouragement found from a wonderful community like this. Thank you.
Please be seated. New mic, I'm not sure how it's going to work. So to start, I'd like to congratulate anyone who's done a chapel speech up to this point. It's a tough task, tougher than I would have thought had I not been given this opportunity, so very well done. So first day back to classes, I was sitting in the library. Thought to myself, pretty normal thing to do is just read a book. So I'm sitting there reading a book, Mr. Lindsay walks in, and he just starts laughing. Some people might think, yeah, it's a pretty normal thing to do, read a book. Some people might think, what a weirdo, sitting in the library reading a book. Mr. Lindsay's part of the latter half of the group. So we shared a good laugh about it later that night, and this isn't the first time, nor will be the last time, that Mr. Lindsay has just outright laughed at me. And he finds me odd, and frankly, I find him odd as well. But that's fine. For the record, Mr. Lindsay can and does read, just so you know. I've seen a lot of memes about this kind of thing too. A university student riding into class on a scooter in a onesie with the caption saying, "This guy has life figured out." Or the classic shot of Keanu Reeves looking confused in Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. I know you guys all know the picture. Great movie, by the way. With the caption, "What if being weird is actually being normal?" As a side note, depending on where you go to university, you'll most certainly see some pretty entertaining outfits in your seminars and lectures, so get ready for that. Throughout this week, faculty have been and will be talking about vocation. Vocation, in its simplest form, is a calling. Essentially, it is what you are meant to do. A lot of people will endure a job for the lack of a better idea. My little brother just recently started a new job because he recognized that his old job wasn't for him. I couldn't be happier for him. I'm so lucky every single day to work with a group of people who are doing what they are meant to do. Teaching is a pretty unique profession where it would be very hard to endure and survive at a school if it's not what you are meant to do. And we get to come to school every day and hang out with you guys, which is pretty nice as well. Now, I wouldn't be a teacher if I didn't like sharing lessons, imparting my own brand of wisdom. And notice the quotations around wisdom. So here it is, a quick lesson. Be weird and appreciate others being weird. That's it. Spent most of my middle school and high school years being so wrapped up in what other people thought. I still did a lot of things that I like to do, like sports, work, but much of the things that I enjoyed doing fell off my radar. Not because I thought that they weren't cool, because I thought that others might think that they weren't cool. I changed a lot in those years and not for the better. I was missing deadlines and assignments, being apathetic with my homework. I stopped painting, pretty much being a shell of the engaged and ambitious student that I was in my early years of school. Honestly, it scared my parents a lot. It is only after reflecting upon it later that I was able to zero in on what made me feel that way. I had a chat with my dad over the December break after a family Christmas party, and we talked about that period in my life. We talked about the power of reflecting, and he finished with saying that he was glad, mostly for my mom's sake, as she is a worrier, that I'd figured it out. He's happy about it too. In my grade 12 year, I started to put it back together. I had a little more flexibility with my courses, so I got back into an art class. I would sit in the library and read a book that I wanted to. I wasn't slacking in my classes, and I was actually developing a positive rapport with the teachers that were the bane of my existence. I found out that teachers were actually people too, which is pretty weird now. Life was easier. I didn't truly notice at the time, but my social life was actually improving by being myself, which is kind of funny and ironic. Going to university, I decided to make a full swing, to just go for it, so to speak. It was a completely new group of people to get to know, so I wanted them to get to know the real me. What a difference. I got along with people. I clashed with some people too, but that's fine. I was me. I met some of my best supporters and friends during that time, and I'm so glad that I was not pretending to be someone else, as I may have missed out on having those people in my life. In a way, I became the hero of my own story. To explain that term, hero of my own story, here is some background. A favorite author of mine is Ayn Rand. Her life spanned from 1905 to 1982, and she still remains a controversial figure to this day. Not to get too deep into it, but she developed a philosophy and theory called objectivism. Objectivism refuses the notion of God, promotes capitalism as the only way to live, and vilifies the concept of service. Not exactly for everyone, and bringing these topics up in conversation will often end said conversation. Rand is a famous atheist and spent decades defending her beliefs. For us, the challenge is to find out what we truly believe in. The chapel is a great place to think and reflect upon our own beliefs. We have so many great speakers and so many different beliefs. If we listen closely to these lessons in chapel, whether it's a Tuesday morning chapel, Friday long service chapel, whatever it is, we can begin to identify what it is that we truly believe in and what it is that resonates with us as individuals. Now, the interesting part about Rand's philosophy and theory were that she chose to explain and prove them in fiction, which is kind of an odd choice. This is where the hero of my own story comes in. The heroes of her books were ordinary people living extraordinary lives. In her two most famous books, Atlas Shrugged and The Fountainhead, the heroes are business women and men and architects. In the books, their lives were extraordinary because Rand had them embrace her theory of objectivism. The reason that they were great was because of objectivism. Bit of a stretch for a lot of people, myself included, but the idea makes sense. Be true to yourself, be principled, be moral, show strength of character, and be productive. That is how you become the hero of your own story. Another ideal of Rand's philosophy is that no one should live for anyone else. This is why she vilified the notion of service. The problem here is that people like doing service. This is how people can be true to themselves, something that Rand may not have really considered in her theory. We've heard an innumerable number of times in chapel that it's in giving that we receive. There are so many different people with so many different interests and passions. Part of our duty is to recognize and appreciate these differences, as they are what make us all unique and great. Being true to myself made all the difference. I had a great time in university as a result. I enjoyed my time in high school, but I forced myself to miss out on a lot of opportunities in those years. In university, I seized every opportunity that I possibly could. For a number of years, I have volunteered at my university's Alumni Affairs Office. This all started with a great, pretty much impromptu meeting with the program director. She was fascinated by my story at uni and asked me to write an article for the Alumni magazine about my experience at school. Just as a note, I went to Trent University in Peterborough. Both Trent and Peterborough are great places to learn. Anyway, I thought about it, and over several sunny days sitting at my favorite coffee shop in Peterborough, I decided that my experience was defined by three key points that seemed to work in a cycle: opportunity, engagement, and leadership. I would see an opportunity, I would get involved. Soon after, I would become a leader in that area. Then that would open up another opportunity, more engagement, and so on. That's how it went for my 5 years in Peterborough. For example, I started rowing in grade 12. The opportunity came up to row at Trent. I tried out and made the varsity team my first year. By my third year, I was a crew captain and volunteering on the executive committee of the rowing club. That opened up the opportunity to join the athletic advisory committee for the university. I became involved in that group and was a member of a panel that helped decide what the new athletics facility would be, which is pretty relevant now given that we're hoping for that new gym here soon. Every opportunity was like this, building into bigger and exciting things, all from deciding to join a team in my first year. By my fourth year, I was playing on 2 university varsity teams, a senior AAA hockey team, writing an undergrad thesis while studying a full course load, working 3 separate jobs through the athletic department, volunteering on several different committees at the university, and maintaining a pretty busy and positive social life, all because I decided to be myself and stop worrying about what other people might think. This paved the way for the rest of my life. For the record, I'm not a hero. I'm not out at night dishing out vigilante justice, unless you include the hallways of Colley House. I see my life as an opportunity to be a hero, though. Each and every day, I'm writing my own story. So in a literary sense, yeah, we are all heroes. The concept is overly flattering, but it is a fun and inspiring way to approach each and every day. I don't care that Mr. Lindsay laughs at me. I am me. It's a bit of a cliche now, but another favorite author of mine wrote it best. Be who you are and say what you feel, because those who mind don't matter, and those who matter don't mind. It's Dr. Seuss, by the way. Now, this is a bit embarrassing, but I wrote pretty well this entire chapel speech without making the connection to the themes that the prefects chose for this year. And I apologize, guys. It's something that should be closer to the forefront of my mind, but it's easy to forget things here at Appleby, with our busy schedules and countless number of commitments. And just as a side note, can we stop saying busy as a one-word answer for when people ask us how our days are going? I'm sure we can find some better ways to describe how our lives are, because everybody's pretty busy, so let's let people know how things are going. So, something that I would like to stop saying, though. Anyway, it was at the all-school assembly 2 days ago when the prefect's video reminded me of the theme, my story. Here at Appleby is a great place to start following your own path and becoming the hero of your own story. I'm inspired every day by our student population, along with our staff and faculty. Now, no one here really minds who you really are. So don't delay and start writing your own story. Become the author of your own epic novel. Now please rise and join in me in singing hymn 401.